Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. A buddy of mine needed his sights on his pistol replaced. He wanted a different set of them, so that's what we're working on today. And I figured that I would just make a video showing you how. Super easy, just like most of my other videos are. The only three things you're going to need are a sight pusher of some sort. This is an older one that was given to me. Super grateful for that. The pistol itself with the slide, and then whatever sights that you want put on them. These are the XS sights for the Springfield XD9. And so let's get right into replacing them. Okay, so we got the slide all taken down and taken apart because I had to do that off screen because YouTube doesn't like that. But it's simple, all for except these XD sights are sometimes really hard to actually start to get to budge. And so we're just going to slide it in to where, as you can see, we've got the pusher over the sights close enough but not touching. That way it'll have as many contact points as possible. That way it's not just pushing like the top of it. And so we're going to tighten these holders down and see if we can't get these sights to budge. Okay, as I've come to find out the hard way, if you are replacing your Springfield XD sights for the first time, be prepared to put in some elbow grease. So I tried to do it with a sight pusher, wasn't working. Springfield sights are in super tight from the factory. So I took this steel punch just small enough to fit into this dovetail groove, put it even with it, and I've broken it a little bit, but I've still got a little bit more to go. Alrighty, now let's work on the front sight. Hopefully it's not as bad. All right, we're gonna give this one just a few love taps to see how it's gonna do. There we go. Okay, so the way that I'm doing this front sight, let me zoom you in a little bit. So this groove right here that actually goes into the dovetail groove, I'm just putting the bottom of the punch along with that and just basically beating it. Alrighty. Okay, so as y'all can see, that was a little bit of a pain in the butt, which if you do any research on changing these sights out for the first time, you'll understand that a lot of people have that. But I used a 16-ounce ball peen hammer with the flat side and a 3/16 punch, and it'll fit right down inside the dovetail groove enough to where you can push both of the sights out with a little bit of willpower and strength. So we're going to hope that the replacement sights are a whole lot easier to actually push in with the sight pusher. So we're going to see. So as you can, and I'll show you real quick. I don't know if they're going to show up, but on the inside, the Springfield slide has witness marks to where you can line up and perfectly center the sights. And so you can use those, but I like to use a set of digital calibers. That way it's a whole lot easier to actually get the most precise measurement. So let's open up these sights. All right, now what we're going to do is take the new sights, and I'm just going to take the first few light taps with the plastic side of this mallet just to get it set into place. Okay. Do it a little bit more. All right. So we've got this in. And so now we are going to use the sight pusher. And you also want to ensure that you're pushing them in from right to left. So I'm going to put it in the vise real quick. And we're going to give it a few more love taps. Now, you can see we've got it in almost halfway, if you can see that. Now we're going to use the flat side of this sight pusher. Hopefully this works out better than the last one did. And I will say, as a note of reference, this is by far the hardest sight that I've ever had to replace. If you have like a Glock or really any other type of sight or any other brand of gun sight, it is about 100 times easier to replace these things. Yeah, it's not going to work the right way. So back to the vise and the hammer. It is okay. So once I got the sight pushed in with the brass punch, it seems to be moving a lot easier in the sight pusher. Granted, I still have to use channel locks to be able to actually get the grip that I need to be able to turn the wheel, but it is moving a lot easier. Okay, so I just realized after I got the new rear sight pushed in that the video stopped recording. So that entire thing is now missed. However, I used the vise and the punch, the 3/16 punch, just to get it halfway. And then after that, I started pushing it in with the sight pusher. And I found that if you use the slanted portion of the sight pusher, it pushes it in a lot easier for some reason. Now that we've got the rear sight pushed in, we are going to use the digital caliper and check to see how centered it is and see if we need to move any further. So we're at 0.137, and then .156, which means that we can take the pusher and push this side in just a smidge. And now we just make micro adjustments to it until the rear sight is perfectly centered. And so we're going to do that, and I'll be back with y'all once I get it done. Okay, so just my luck, my microphone ended up going out right here, but I ended up getting the rear sight completely centered, and right here I am just getting the front sight started. That way I can try to put it into the sight pusher, and I ended up not being able to just because of literally everything else. The sight pusher with these Springfield sights wasn't wanting to work, so I ended up putting them in the vise right here and just tapped it in with the hammer and a punch to get it actually set in. Okay, now we got the front sight put on. Now we're just going to check to make sure it is centered. 0.214 and 0.211. Okay, so we got both the front and the rear sight replaced finally. Took a little bit of persuading with this slide. Springfield why the heck do you do that? This is by far the hardest set of sights that I've had to replace ever. Um, but that's beside the fact. We got them replaced, and now I can get it back to my buddy, and he can start getting it all dialed in the way he likes it. I hope this video did changing the sights justice. I plan on doing it the same video, probably on a set of Glock sights, just to make it a little bit easier. This one will probably just be for this set of sights, because of how difficult it was, and I feel like a lot of people would probably appreciate that. But if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment box below. And until next time, I love you. God loves you. Y'all have a blessed rest of y'all's day. Actually, I want to leave y'all with a verse of the day. John 16:33. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. So until next time, God loves you. I love you. Y'all have a blessed rest of y'all's day.